Hey everyone, this is Prince from Desi Programmer. Welcome back to another exciting video, and in this video we are going to talk about using Material U and Material 3 components in Flutter. So keeping things simple, I would first like to get started with what Material U is. And Material U is nothing else but it's basically material design refined for you. So the Google idea for Material U is that every time you buy a phone, you customize it according to your needs. And the most popular thing that Google came up with is that we change the wallpaper, which kind of is true. So what Google's going to do is that in its recent application with Material 3, it's going to pick the color from your wallpaper and is going to apply a similar kind of tint to all your applications, which obviously follow the Material 3 design principle, hence giving your app kind of a personalized look and feel. Other than that, if you talk about Material 3, then just like Material Design 2, Material 3 is another Material Design's latest version, which obviously comes with some of the features. There have been some changes and stuff like that. If you take a look at that, Google says that they have changed the color system a lot, obviously because of Material U. Also, they have refined the entire shading, the entire tint, the entire shadow and stuff like that. They have also added some new widgets. I won't say they have added a new widgets. They were there. They kind of changed it. So for example, now the chip is a little bit different. The navigation rail is here, which again is a little bit different. We have switches here, text fields kind of same, just they have been little changes, and we have the top app bar, the bottom app bar and stuff like that. I think most of them were already there in in Material Design 2. The only difference is that they have been refined a little bit. So we are going to use that right now. Now to use them in Flutter, you obviously need Flutter version 3. So make sure that you have Flutter 3 installed at least. And then with Flutter version 3, just create a Flutter project just as you do. As you can see, I have the simple project up and running. Okay, this is a Material 3 demo, a simple Material app. I have set the font family, not a big deal obviously. I have the simple home page which is Material components. In my home page, I haven't added anything. You have the simple floating action button. The code is same as it used to be. We have a center widget. We have a column which has an elevated button, an outline button and a text button. I'm going to run this project now. So once the application is up and running, we see this output. Obviously it's nothing new. This is how our components used to look. But now if you go to theme data and you simply use this Material Design 3, which is basically use Material 3, and you set this value to true, now you are saying that you want to use Material 3 widgets. Now as you can see, few stuff have been changed. The elevated button is now different, the outline button is different, and so is the text button. So this is the difference. If you take a look at it, this is our Material 2 widgets and this is our Material 3 widgets. This is a very simple difference here. Take a look at the floating action button too, how it used to be earlier and now how it is. So this is a simple tint change that's happening here. But let's actually move forward. I'm simply going to add a color here. So let's add a primary color and it's going to be colors dot purple. Let's save this. And as you can see, there aren't much refinements according to the color scheme. So the one new thing with Material 3 is the Material U part, which kind of tries to pick the color from the user's scheme. For that, Flutter gives us a very simple way to implement. You have to just add this particular line to your code. Basically, it's a simple package called a dynamic color. Just add this. Once this is done, once that is installed, we are going to import the dynamic color. So import dynamic color. Once this is done, what we have to do is that we have to wrap our Material app with a color builder. So we are going to wrap this with a builder, and this builder is going to be our dynamic color builder. Now obviously the dynamic color builder is going to have a builder, and this has two properties. We have a light dynamic color scheme. So we have a color scheme which could be null, and this is light dynamic. In the same way, we have another color scheme which could be null. Let's say this is dark. So what's basically going to happen is that we are going to check if this is an Android version 12 and the system was able to pick a color scheme from the user phone. If it's available, we are going to use that. If it's not available, then we are going to use a secondary color scheme. So for that, let me just first go to Chrome, and here I'm going to pick this particular color up. Okay, I'll copy this, and this is going to be my secondary color or brand color, or you can just say something like that. So I'm going to have a color, let's say brand color, and this is going to be a color. We have 0xff and then this particular code. I hope there is no problem with this. Okay, sorry, this has to be an int. Now we are fine. So this is our secondary brand color, but first we have to check stuff here. So we are going to have a color scheme which is going to be our color scheme. So this is, let's say, light color scheme. In the same way, we also have a dark color scheme. So this is our dark color scheme. Now first we are going to check if the dynamic scheme that we got is null or not. So if light dynamic, this is actually nothing new. I have kind of just implemented the entire code that was available at dynamic colors example, and it works pretty fine. So there was not need to change. I mean, this is a simple way of implementation. No matter how much I change, at the end this is how it's going to come. You can change the variable names and stuff like that, but the end result is going to be the same. So if this is not null, and obviously if the dark is not null, and what we are going to do, this basically means that we got a color scheme. So what we are going to do is that we are going to say that the light color scheme is going to come from this light dynamic, okay, dot, we could take the harmonized value, and then we say copy with, sorry. So it's going to copy that scheme, and then we are going to add our own brand. So basically we can customize if we want to, if we want to. If you want, you can leave it as it is, or you can add stuff like the light scheme is also going to come from the light scheme, and we are going to copy this, and here we are going to have a secondary value which is going to be our brand color. So we can add this. So now this your custom brand color will be available as a secondary value that you can always use. However, the primary scheme will come from the user's wallpaper only. The same can be done for the dark theme too. I'm not going to copy the users part, but as you can see, now our dark color scheme is going to come from the dark dynamic value, harmonized and copy with. And since I'm not going to extend, I'm not even going to use copy with. Harmonized is fine. But what if the value is not null? Okay, sorry, what if the value is null? Which means, what if your app is running on some device which doesn't support Android 12? Now in that case, you're going to obviously use your own color scheme, and that's pretty simple. We just have to say that the light color scheme is going to come from color scheme. We have a way to do that now, and then we are going to take from seed, and the seed color is going to be our brand color. And in the same way, our dark color scheme is also going to come from this particular seed color. The difference is that I have to set this to dark color scheme, and here I have to set the brightness to dark. So we have brightness, which is going to be brightness dot dark. Once this is done, all that I have to do is to pass this as a color scheme to our material widget. So the color scheme is going to be light color scheme. Let's save it, and now we are done. We can obviously pass the dark color scheme too, but once you save this, reload it, and as you can see, you can already see the difference here, right? This color has been changed according to the value that we have provided here. Let me go right here, and let me just grab some other values so that I can show you the changes in real time. Let me just paste this. Alright, so we are going to restart the application, and let's see how it's going to pick this reddish kind of tone. So even though I added this red color, it didn't do that, and the reason why it did not do that is because I'm already using an emulator which uses Android version 12. So it's basically picking this particular color from the system. If I just remove this part, which means I don't want to pick the color from the system, now you can see it's going to give you that reddish tone according to the color that you picked up. We can keep changing it, and we can keep getting the tone that we want. We just keep pick this one, go back here, and now we are going to reload it, and we are going to get that brownish tone in our application. As you can see, this is what we get. So this is the entire idea of Material U. If we talk about Material 3, these components have kind of some refined edges. Let's take a look at the components that we have in Material 3. First thing that I really love here is the dialog. So you can say show dialog. One thing that I really love about Material 3 widgets is this particular dialog box. So it's same, the code as you can see is completely same as it used to be in Flutter. But if I click on this button right now, you can see this very different kind of dialog box here, and I kind of love it, the way it has been refined accordingly, the edges and all. It's far better than that of Material 2. Also, we have a very nice navigation rail. The navigation rail was obviously present. I'm not going to talk about that. It's same. The only difference is the way it implements this chip based system. Let me show you that. All that I'm going to do is that here I'm going to add a bottom navigation bar. which is going to be a simple nav bar. Okay, here we are going to have a lot of navigation destination, not rail destination, navigation destination. We're going to have an icon in all these destinations. So let's say the icon is going to be icon dot home, and we are going to have a label. So let's see, we are going to have some text label. Okay, we have to just add string, so we are going to have this as home. I'm going to just copy this 3 times. Let me save this, and now as you can see in the bottom bar we have this very nice navigation bar. Okay, let's try to make some changes here, and let's see what we get. So this is how these widgets are going to look. Okay, let's say that we already have the number 1 selected by default. So when somebody clicks on this, alright, so as you can see, the process is actually same. We used to have a list of navigation items. Right now they are just navigation destination. We have a selected index just as the way it was there, and also we have an on destination selected, which will basically switch the destination that we have selected. Okay, I have used this simple variable which starts with 0, and if you click on this, it's going to switch the destination. And see, this is how amazing it looks. And there again multiple properties. None of them are hard enough that I have to explain. For example, you may want this label behavior to be different, so we can have a navigation destination label behavior, and then we have always hide, always show, only show selected. Only show selected, obviously will show label only on those icons which are selected right now. We have always hide, which is going to always hide these icons, and we have always show, which is the by default one, so we are going to always see the label right here. And so this is the thing that I really love about Material 3. Other than that, if you go back to here, as you can see, few things have been updated. Okay, and we have already talked about them. We have talked about this navigation bar, we have talked about this dialog, we have talked about this button, and we have talked about this particular icon button. This extended button is going to look like this. It's nothing too crazy. We already had that in Flutter, so it's nothing but too big. Yeah, there's thing about this card. So the elevation in card has been refined to look a bit different, but again, the code is still the same. As you can see, we have these components available, we have some color thing available, some typography, and some features available. A lot of components are still going to come, so I'm kind of waiting for them to come here so that we can, take a look at them in detail. But as of now, these are the few components that we have from Material 3, and you can simply start using Material 3 just if you are using Flutter version 3, and you set this particular boolean value to true, and you can also start grabbing the color scheme from user's phone, which you just saw is kind of happening. Alright, other than that, we also have this option to set the color scheme completely on our own brand value, so you can do that too. Otherwise, this is what you're going to get in your particular application. And I really love the way some of these icons have been refined. It really makes a difference. I mean, material design already was really good, but the way these things have been refined is kind of taking Material 3 to a whole different level. But anyway, that's pretty much it from my side in this one very simple video. I will make sure to keep posting more of them. So take care, keep sharing, and I'll see you soon.